O-Kei. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to O-Kei Podcast. My name is Hayden.
My name's Kamila.
And we are back in our booth.
Yeah.
Again. Things are weird right now.
Yeah.
And our schedules are weird. So we are all over the place.
Yes.
We are all over Chicago. We are running around, trying to do what we can, when we can, where we can.
I'm really proud of us.
I am too, you know.
Like, we're keeping up with the keeping up.
You know, I feel that, like, as long as, like, we stay on schedule and we are doing something, it's a good sign.
Yeah.
And
I think we owe it all to, like, you're very organized.
Oh, thank you.
I'm somewhat organized.
I seem organized on the outside. Inside, my mind is a minefield. That's why it's called a mind. But, it was a very bad
It's a different
joke.
podcast we're doing here.
That was a very bad one. Hi, everyone. On today's episode, we are going to be speaking to the one, the only, the NHK Kawaii International 2019 winner, Tracy Dizon. So exciting. We had an excellent conversation with her. She is wonderful. She is so freaking cute. I adore her.
There was so much that I did not know about Tracy.
Yes.
Just from like the details that were explained to me in the contest. I'm like, she's done so much.
Yes, she really has. And it's phenomenal to me how far she's come over the
inspiring.
past, almost 2 decades. It's wild, absolutely wild. So we had a very awesome conversation with her about NHK. And then we also had a conversation with her about being a J-fashion mom.
Yep.
And that's in our Patreon content. So if you're interested in listening to that, please head on over to our Patreon. I'm still working on getting caught up because I just had my midterms. So over Thanksgiving break, I'm going to do a lot of shit. We're getting there. Kamila, you had some personal news you wanted to share.
So my personal news was, you know, that comic that I've been talking about forever.
What?
Hardcore, the comic. Issue 1. It came out. It sold really well. The physical copy, both just the comic version and the bundle version, sold out.
Phenomenal.
You could still get the digital copy for $4 on my website.
Hell yeah.
Some people have gotten, but there's definitely a pool of people that are like, I need the physical comic. What the fuck is going on?
Exactly. I mean, it is so amazing. And just to hold it in your hand, I feel, is so connecting to, like, you and the community. And it's like, ooh. And I think people like to hold things.
Right. And then with the bundle, too, like, I signed the book, put your name.
Oh.
Yeah. Get a temporary tattoo and a button. And it's packed very carefully. So I feel they feel that love that's put into the package more than a digital comic. But, you know, it's the 21st century. It's 2019. You got to have the digital version out there.
Hey, why not get both?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be putting in an order for a restock soon. So I'm not going to wait 3 months or anything like that. I'm just going to, at least by November, there should be a new restock. And I'll be talking about it here on a podcast. I'll be emailing people about it and posting it on my Instagram and stuff. So look out for that. It's going to be fun.
Cool. I have no news. It's been hectic, but I'm doing the thing. Life's just been crazy. That's all I have to say.
You've been being very generous with things that you find at Buffalo.
Oh yeah, that's been fun. At my place of work, whenever some cool items come in, first thing I do is I message people. I'm like, hey, this lazy oaf piece just came in. It's this size. Do you want it? And I just I've basically become a shopping service for people. Yeah, because it's there's so many cool things that I just want to go to good homes. And I know my J-Fashion crew are going to treat things right and not take them for granted or just toss them after 2 wears. There have been some really, really cool pieces. I saw a Listen flavor shirt come into the store, but it wasn't anything super desirable.
Who are these people that are living around here?
Exactly. Who are you? I want to know you.
Yeah.
Please hit me up. But it was a cool Listen flavor shirt, but it wasn't anything super desirable. It was more on their goth side of things. So I was like, meh. But it's still cool to know that there's, like, someone who, like, probably bought a Listen Flavor Lucky Pack and was like,
Right.
I'm going to try to make back some money from this.
You know what would be really cool? We've got a few stores that are popping up like K Collective and Kuroshiro.
Kuroshio.
Maybe an idea is just to like have a section in there that's just like people bringing back stuff.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Hey, K Collective, Kuroshiro, you listening?
Listen.
Hey.
That's a great
Hi there.
idea. I think that would be awesome because sometimes you want to buy stuff that's already been used lightly, but you got to really find it.
Yeah.
So I that's what I really like, curated thrift stores. Just because, okay, this is all within the same category of, okay, this is 80s, 90s retro. All right, I know that I'm going to find that stuff there.
And, it's a great way to get inventory in really fast because people are always looking to sell their items all the time. Oh, my God. It's weird being a buyer at the store. Like, on one hand, you're good for people to, like, interact with because, like, you're buying their stuff. But on the other hand, if you don't find anything, they get insulted.
Right.
And it's like, oof, I'm sorry, but like this one old lady came in and she brought in like 3 very retro pieces, like early 2000s pieces that were not very trendy or stylish right now. We couldn't take them in because they wouldn't sell in our store. She was like, "You're not taking anything?" We're like, "No, I'm sorry. They're just like a little too retro for us." She was like, "But I dragged them all the way over here." We're like, "And?"
Yeah.
It's not my problem. I'm sorry, but like we're not a Goodwill. We have to curate our items. I'm sorry, lady, but like you're a grandma. This stuff what isn't fashionable. It wasn't fashionable 5 years ago. It's not fashionable 10 years ago. But just because it's leather doesn't mean it's gonna sell. So it's a weird thing that you gotta balance. Ugh.
I remember I brought something to like a Plato's Closet and they're just like, we have the kids version of Plato's Closet next door. You want to give your stuff there?
God.
And I was just like, nah, but it was mostly because of like the time. I was like, it took hours for you to give me this information back. If I take it over there, then they're going to have to look through it again for hours, and I don't want to be in this area for another few hours. So I'll just like give it away, I guess.
Hot tip, if you're looking to sell your clothing items, one, make sure they're in good condition. Don't bring in items that have like underarm stains or like have pilling in between the crotch because they're getting
that sucks.
They're getting chub rub. People really only take items that are in good condition. And then bring in things that are trendy and stylish right now. Bring things that are in season. So Hayden's hot tips.
As far as just general J fashion news, I wanted to talk about the Papillon.
Papillon.
Papillon. Papillon?
Yeah, it's
They're not going to say the L's.
no, it's Hispanic.
Oh, that's where it's from. I was
Or
just
French.
like, I don't. So, Papillon magazine. It's a Gauru fashion magazine made by, I think it's Norgal, the Gaurusa that's based in California.
Northern California.
Yep. And then there's a few other contributors like Lizzie, who was on our podcast before, that are writers and editors and things that are not from the Norgal, but it's mostly created by that Gaurusa. And it was really cool. It's free. And the graphic design looks beautiful, very reminiscent of 90s Gauru magazines. Yeah, and it features a lot of familiar faces if you're in the Gao community, or if you just want to get to know the Western Gao community, definitely take a look at their first issue. You'll see a lot of different people that are really active in the community. I thought it was a really cool first volume.
Also, how was KCON, y'all? I would love to hear what you guys experienced there. Please send us emails, comment, post it on our Facebook, or send us a Facebook message.
And what's our email, Hayden?
Our email is O-Kei, that is O-K-E-I .podcast@gmail.com.
Wink. Always be plugging.
All right. And with that, we are going to throw it on over to our past selves to do our interview with
Hey, y'all,
Tracy
it's
Dizon.
Hayden. It's Kamila.
We've talked a bit about how O-Kei Podcast is a labor of love for us.
Yes.
Neither of us get paid to create this content, and we make it because it's important and we love to do it.
Yeah, doing this podcast does take a lot of time and a bit of money, though. Because of that, we would like to tell you about our Patreon. If you become a monthly Patreon at any level, you'll get to contribute questions to our monthly guests.
And if you donate at the $3 a month level, you'll gain access to our bonus patron content, which has special interviews with our guests.
Like what it's like to be in a garusa, switching styles, and tips on modeling in Japan.
There's absolutely no obligation to become a patron whatsoever, but we would greatly appreciate it. So thank you so much, and now back to the show.
Woo!
And welcome back. Today's guest is Tracy Dizon, the NHK Kawaii.I fashion contest winner, and we are so excited to have you here.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Happy to be chatting with you guys.
Yeah,
Yay.
thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for sitting down with us. We really appreciate it. I know working with like the time difference can be a little
right.
rusty, but I mean, you work with people in Manila, so I bet you this is nothing.
Yeah, it's fine. My day is slower than the evening, so I'm
Got
good
it.
with that. That's good. That's good.
Awesome. All right, so today in our discussion, we're mainly going to be talking about the NHK Kawaii.I contest. So the first question that we have for you is, where did you start in alternative fashion, and what do you think your style is now?
I think, as you may know, and based from the NHK contest, I'm kind of a little bit older than everyone, I guess. I'm like 36. I'm turning 37 next week.
Congrats.
Yay.
Yeah, so I'm a Halloween baby. I've been designing for give or take maybe 16 years or so.
Wow.
Back then, it was very different in a way that when you're doing something non-traditional, everybody gets freaked out. When the word fashion designer comes into mind with everyone, they would think gowns. And I was more like, no, I kind of really want to design something always in the streetwear. I'm always in that streetwear kind of thing. And alternative fashion, it's more of really the direction that I really wanted to go to, but there wasn't much of a lead. Even in classes, they didn't taught much of subcultures.
Yeah.
There was a phase that I liked punk. I was like, I was in a band. It's
Cool.
college days. Like, oh my God, that is like my past life. But I think I know in myself, I was looking for that kind of rebellion. I came from a very strict family. Well, I think it goes the same way with Japanese street fashion kids. We all came from like very strict upbringing, and the way to rebel is like just to dress up differently. So I guess that was my way instead of like doing something crazier. But yeah, I got really interested with the kawaii when I saw something on CNN or like some very different, like a very
news
new
segment
style.
or something.
Yeah, and they were talking about like Fruits magazine, and then how this editor was just featuring fashion from the street, and it's not dictated by any commercial brand or not dictated by any photo shoot. It's just really raw, and that's when I started to be more interested with Japanese street fashion in a way. I just really like that idea that it's not dictated by anything else but their self-expression and individuality.
So my other question, because you talked a lot about like designing and everything like that, how would you describe your style now that you wear?
My style, well, I think personal style is influenced by your ideals, right? And where you live. Like there are so many things that comes with it. So I think at this moment, I think I have reinvented myself many times, but now I'm really just embracing the hustling here in New York. Well, it's really like a character. I feel like I'm a character in some kind of a TV show or something. But
That's cool.
But it's contrary to the stereotype that New Yorkers are tough or mean. I kind of get the opposite. Everybody's kind of nice to me and say like, "Oh, you're so cute. You're interesting fashion." And
Right.
yeah, well, the only thing that I want to defy from everybody here always kind of wears black, and I would still want to wear something bright.
Right. So you wear a lot of like colors and
Yeah. At the same time, I still want to continue on wearing something of my heritage. It keeps me close to my culture because I'm away from home. It makes me have things to share with like different people that I meet.
That's
Yeah,
awesome
so
that you're able to mix in your culture and
yeah.
your love of alternative Japanese fashion
And New York
and New York
fashion.
fashion.
Yeah, New York. Oh my gosh, it's so fun.
So, why did you decide to apply to the Kawaii-I contest?
Rewind a little. I have been like the top fan maybe of Kawaii International since 2012. Just to have a little background, before 2011, before the 311, what I noticed was Japanese culture was so hard to research about. It was so hard to Google them.
Right.
They have their own network and kind of thing. They're very private kind of entity in the, I don't know, in the cyberspace. But came 311, it just seemed that that was a milestone in the Japanese culture, that it kind of opened their world. It was easier. It's so much easier than before. I couldn't research that much. But anyway,
So, real quick, I'm not familiar. What is 311 and what is the significance?
311 was the Fukushima, the earthquake that
Oh, okay.
happened. I'm not an expert with this, but it was based on my observation, just being a Japanese culture enthusiast. I have been that it was very hard to like Google stuff.
I only ask that because here, at least as far as I'm aware, with in my community, we just call it like the Fukushima earthquake. We don't really describe it by a number. So thank you for explaining that.
So came after 2011. I noticed that there was like this boom of Japan was really more accessible. You can order stuff online now and things like this. And came 2012, we had the birth of Kawaii International, and I'm like, oh my god, thank you Lord for this. Like I'm just really happy because it was so hard to research about Japanese street fashion in general, just because like everything is in Japanese, or everything is, you have to translate and stuff.
And it's all very decentralized.
Yeah, I had been a fan, but I'm more of like, I'm kind of still at that point that I was kind of feeling lost, because as a brand or as a designer, I still haven't ironed out how I can cater to my market, to my clients, and then still embrace my style in a way, because like I was kind of not lost, but of course whoever is interested with my brand, I'm gonna cater. But what happened was like I'm serving wedding brides, like I feel so,
like you couldn't find like
Yeah,
the
I
audience
couldn't-
that you really wanted to cater to, and then when you saw Kawaii-I, it was like, oh, these are the types of people, they
yeah,
exist.
definitely. And then I want my pieces be worn with someone I really identify with.
Right. What got you to the point where you're just like, I'm gonna apply this
gonna
year?
try?
Had you done it previous years, or?
Yeah, the thing was like, maybe I tried once back like 5 years, 6 years ago, and then I started to feel a little bit, what's the right word?
Discouraged?
Yeah, discouraged, because it seemed like they're just featuring bloggers, and I'm, man, I'm way, okay, this is not my game. Like, okay, yeah. And then came my last collection last year was my, it's a Filipino pop modern interpretation of our Filipiniana clothing, like our traditional clothing. And then for some reason, I kind of veered away for a little, maybe 3 years. I kind of veered away from doing the Japanese kawaii style, just because I felt I needed to grow and expand.
Yeah.
Because like when I was back home, I couldn't get into like real fashion week shows, because they keep telling me that we're not catering to like cosplay or costume stuff, and then like, oh my god, I'm serious with my business. So
right. You want people to take you seriously.
So, and then like, but still, like even if I veered away, I still like in my show here in New York, there were some cool kids coming up to me and said like, "Do you have Lolita influences? Because I really can see in your clothes." And I like,
so even when you tried to veer away,
yeah,
even
if I try to veer away, I guess my kawaii DNA still comes back. When I saw the competition, I just like wondered, let me just try it out. Like, I mean, I just thought of like, maybe it's my way to say thank you to to the influences that I got. Like if they can see that I've succeeded and merged everything that I've learned and stuff, it would be an interesting kind of story or something.
Right.
And I guess it was. I don't know.
So do you think that contributed to you winning Kawaii-I? Like maybe your story and how long and varied it is?
What I've heard from Rinrin and Misha during the announcement was, I guess because I'm old and 36 and I'm a mom and and it's quite different. It's kind of true. It's quite different. I had a lot of clients who are in that age, and they keep telling me like, you make me happy with what you do because you give me the allowance to be kawaii even if I'm already a mom. That in that way, I guess I was a little bit different. I didn't know that I would go on winning because I saw the other finalists had like 200,000 followers. Oh my God, I'm like freaking out.
And that kind of goes into like, what do you think contributed to your win? Because I think when we talk about we as in like people in the Fairy K and Decora community, we are very like, I don't want to say closed off, but we just like forget about people outside of our own Fairy K Decora community.
Yeah,
and so
Western.
Yes, the Western community especially. So like we all really thought that there were two contestants in particular that were gonna win, and when we saw that you won, we were like, wow, this is awesome. Like, we want to know who her people are. So who do you think are like the people that really uplifted you to contribute to your win?
I was surprised, but I guess I'm a little bit well traveled in the way I have networked in Europe. My business was in Japan for a while.
Oh, wow.
I have been published in VV and WWE Japan and all those magazines. I really had like serious business in Japan anyway. Guys, if you don't have any idea, Filipinos are hardcore online voters. Serious hardcore voters. That's why, I don't know, the social media there is like crazy. Like,
I'm so glad like the community's like expanded that far.
Right.
It was strange, but I guess there were like a friend of my mom who's voting for me, and like these are not from a community.
Right.
These are like from the outside forces and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess like well, maybe one of the favors or I appreciated the effort are my fashion muses. Like I have one particular fashion muse back home who has 2 million followers, I guess.
Wow.
Then her name is Maxine, and whenever she wears my designs, oh my God, like I have like 100 inquiries pouring out on me. Like those are like,
that is awesome.
I must admit that I was even annoying my own self, like posting every day. I was really stressing out with it. I didn't know how to be like an online thing. This is the downside of it. I found myself having some of my real friends, like real back home friends, unfollow me and unfriend me, maybe because they thought I was like very loud and like
like posting too much.
Yeah, and I kind of felt a little sad about it. Like I was even like feeling guilty, like, oh, is this the price of what I wanted to do? But if they were really like solid friends, they would kind of understand though, right? I don't know. I mean,
no, and that actually kind of flows into the next question. One of our patrons on Patreon, Ethel, wanted to ask you about the reactions towards your win in the Filipino community, and she would also like to know about your lifestyle balance. What do you worry about, and how does your fashion affect others in the Filipino community?
Well, the Filipino community, of course, I have my own following because I already host tea parties back home.
Oh,
so
nice.
I know I already have girls who are willing, who are kind of solid with me in a way.
Yeah.
And I have the kawaii moms, and I was really surprised. I was getting a lot of like messages from moms. I was like, oh my God, okay, moms represent, but the Filipino community are kind of solid with me, I guess. If there were any unpleasantries, I didn't hear
Notice,
anything.
yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So,
And then-
because like I have the solid support of the Filipino American or the Filipinos abroad that are kind of supportive in a way, because it's quite different to be from back home, and when you're like an immigrant, there's so less of you guys here, and then you have to be like supportive to each other. There were a lot of press who wants to feature me, so I guess like that was kind of fun, but they still are waiting for my episode to air before they like start
Putting those out
yeah,
or something.
I guess so. And then what else is the next question?
So the next part of the question is Ethel would like to know about your lifestyle balances, like between.
Okay, one of the stuff that Kawaii International asked me is how do I manage to balance? There's no secret because maybe I don't sleep.
There is no balance. That's the answer.
There's no balance. But
Oh no.
what I like here in New York is I get to have a reason to go out and have fun. Guys, I'm just new to the clubbing scene and stuff. And
Ooh.
oh my God, this is like the complete people watching, and you will see a lot of like different kinds of fashion, and then like, oh, she looks like a Lolita. Oh, that one is visual. Okay, like for me, like it's like all the underground, all the punk, all the different kinds of subculture have a reason to go out and dress up like that. I'm happy that maybe I'm more of a night owl lately. Like I'm trying to get like more of a freelance jobs or part-time jobs in the daytime, but as long as I have like clients that I have to take care of, like production that I have to approve and stuff, I have to wake up. I have to stay up until 4, 5 a.m.
Wow.
And my work day starts at 9 p.m. just because it's 9 a.m. back home, and that's when I start to do like all the things that I have to approve of, all the things that I have to like check on. And then at the same time, the club scene is at nighttime, so that's where I get to go out and see some of my friends. The thing that I really had fun with here in New York versus in the Philippines was that feeling of respect and safeness that you can go out as wherever you are or whatever you want to wear, and you wouldn't be a little bit in a danger in a way.
Okay.
Because like in the Philippines, it's not that like someone would kill you and like it's not like that, but there are a lot of like catcalling.
Yeah.
Like hecklers.
I don't want to be sexualized in a way, so I don't want to be treated as a joke, like a comedian, like
a clown or something.
Yeah, no, I'm not subscribing to that. And no, I'm sorry, I'm gonna sound arrogant, but it's not my fault if you're not cultured enough to know stuff. So I'm sorry, but whenever like I get a little bit disrespected in a way, that's how I look at it, I guess.
So it sounds like it's a balance between like work and play, making sure that you get those breaks in between those
I
really
get
long sessions.
My daytime is basically for my mom stuff, like cooking dinner, making sure my son does his chores and all. But basically errands that are adulting errands is not fun, but there's no secret to it. Just have a checklist of things that you have to do, like, and to reward myself, I get myself something cute, or like have a party and dress up kawaii. So I mean, I always think of embracing that kawaii side as my reward, I guess. You know, like I can now have fun, or like my little Hello Kitty Happy Meals are my reward all the time.
Right. So how did you feel while waiting for the voting results? I know there's that point at which you put out that video and then you kind of wait for people to kind of like, they're voting and you're putting up, your posts and everything like that. Like, how are you feeling? Were you feeling like confident, like anxious,
I even had
apathetic?
like a moment with one of the finalists. Was it Sean? I remember we had a quick, I don't know if it was a quick chat, but it was a chat that I was starting to feel a little bit guilty even because like my son had a brain tumor situation that
Oh
we
my
had to like we had to have a regular checkup on, and I'm feeling a little bit guilty that I'm
You're trying to promote this contest, but
yeah,
then
but I
something
also
traumatic is
have
happening.
to
Yeah.
be in this serious mode that I have to be
Right.
very focused on my son's
Yes.
clinic, his laboratories and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of like guilt in a way that whenever something has to come before my being a mom, I'm always like that. But Sean even said like just do what you gotta do. So
Sean is the best, honestly.
Right.
well, everybody's I build a lot of great friendships in among the finalists. Kaoru is also one of the
Yeah.
very very sweet boy, and he's really like very interested in trying to expand the community and stuff, and he's like a little brother to me, and maybe a son because he's almost as old as everybody's as old as my son. I hate it.
So you're feeling this guilt, and then like take us back to the day before the results came out, or the day before you found out that you were the winner. What was that feeling like?
I'm kind of glad it's over because like I'm also tired of sending every day, like posting every day. It was a chore for me.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm more of a designer. I'm really not like every day posting, or like if I do have a network, it's just I'm used to the ones that I'm used to, like my clients or my friends, my family. I was more relieved that I can delete this whole bunch of stuff in my phone because my phone memory is already full and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was really soon right after the voting is over that I got an email from NHK that they're gonna be checking on everyone's progress. So I was more thinking that way. So like, okay, okay, well, progress. I mean, I was already thinking of what I've learned and what I've what I've observed, and what I've learned is there were really a lot of moms out there who's like rooting for me. So I was already ready for that whole shenanigan. And then when we had the Skype call, they were just asking casually and then said, "Oh, we also have something to tell you. You won." And like I was so confused. Like, are they doing this to everyone? Are they trying to record everyone's reaction, or like are they trying? Like I'm so like
you weren't expecting the results to be said in that phone call.
Yeah, I mean I'm really confused. Like, and then it was weird because it was being filmed, so I don't know how I would react, and I was really confused. And
I feel like oh man, so if they were like recording it, they were probably trying to like catch you off guard so that it'll be like good for the episode or something. Like,
and then like when I guess they aired it a little, and my son and my sister were laughing at me. "You look silly! Oh my god!" And then, oh my god! Whatever. Okay. I mean, I was really caught off guard. They still also asked me that in my coming episode that at that time I couldn't digest what's happening. Like, are you just asking me, or is this like a checkup on everyone? Like, okay, what do I do? And then they were saying like, who do you want to say thank you to? And like I started saying thank you to the moms, and I was surprised that like even my fashion friends, like the high fashion people are kind of a highbrow people, like they're kind of snooty and stuff. And I was even surprised that even my high-end fashion friends are kind of voting for me and like campaigning me. I was babbling like, "Oh, thank you for everyone who's voting, and for the non-kawaii friends who made an effort to vote even if they don't understand what's happening." And,
right.
it was a little bit crazy here and there, and
So what I'm hearing from you is that it's all about that network, like, getting all your communities together, not just like, oh, let me just get my fashion friends, to vote for me and tell them about this because they're the ones that are going to know what I'm talking about. It's just like where you work and your family reaching out to extended family and, everyone in your network rather than the people who you only expect to be involved in this.
Because personally what I think is to stay alive, the culture to stay alive, it should be recognized. At least that's the right word. I am for being recognized as a serious culture. It's not some kind of a novelty or people think of it as some kind of a joke thing. Like, no, this is a serious business, and it should be represented that way. I guess I was always in that fence, wanting to have that kind of acknowledgement, recognition, that it should be taken more seriously in a way.
Outside of the community that was built from it.
Because that was my struggle in my life living as this kawaii girl. I always get this kind of what's the right word? Like, I get set aside in in the fashion, in the serious world, like in the ready to wear production. I get set aside just because they think it's too childish. It's not. I mean, I know for a fact that if you put it on retail, put a cute set of mini collection in a RTW brand, those are going to be like selling like pancakes for different people. Those kind of little things are the ones that I was kind of like fighting for. I don't know.
Yeah.
So now you've had some time to like process all of this. So how does it feel now to be the winner of the contest, and what do you think you'll do with the title of being a kawaii leader?
I'm going to be throwing some shade and say there were nasty online trolls.
Oh my goodness.
And I saw some of them on the Kawaii.I post announcing you as the winner.
I didn't see those.
Yeah, I saw them. Yeah, it was like quite a few, I guess, and it seemed like it was from people who don't know who you are. Basically, they had their favorites.
This is my first time in my career. I mean, I've been in Project Runway in the Philippines. I've been a public thing as in my design.
Right.
But I've never heard such low blow and it was really racist. Like mutt. I was called in a mutt. I was called in a second class whatever, and
my Lord.
I even had like threats on my website.
What?
Like,
oh my gosh.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, there was someone who sent in a threat saying like the truth is coming out. What truth? I mean, I'm waiting for that truth. Like I've always been an open book. And then someone started to say like, I'm not familiar with the show, but I guess it was referring to some kind of a show that pretending that their child has a sickness. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it, but that was the email sent to me. Like, guys, I really cried a little bit, like in my therapy.
Oh my goodness.
That's hitting something of my motherhood, and if something of my son's illness, that's something I can never wish on anyone. The ordeal of having brain machines carrying my son to this whole procedure, and then someone kind of make use of that to
try and hurt you. Yeah.
Dude, that's not not okay.
That's totally too far, bringing a child into this.
I'm not used to this.
To a contest about just style and fashion. Like, I mean, not to like say
it's not that deep.
Yeah, it's not that serious.
Come on, like there's no money at stake.
Right.
I work with Richie Rich, the fashion designer. So he always advised me. He's like my mentor and stuff. And he always advised me not to be affected. And if you're going to be famous, you're going to have to deal with a lot of that. But I'm still not in that. I don't want to be like that. I mean, I still want to be personal. Whenever whatever happens, I still want to be me. Part of me is I will be a little sensitive and hurt with things that are wishing me ill and wishing me
Right.
bad things. I'm real human. I mean, I don't know how influencers does it that they
Right,
just
yeah.
shrug it off. No, I'm more of a real person in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, what I realize is like, okay, if someone throws me that kind of deal, I would post more of the nice stuff. Like I would post more of the
The
things that are
success and the
being
things that are
said.
making you happy, yeah.
Yeah, and then like funny thing is they kind of stop. It's a little bit obnoxious in a way, but I was flooding in a way that the good stuff that are being thrown to me and instead
Right.
of the bad one,
Yeah.
and they kind of stop. And that is maybe something that should be also put a light on
Mm-hmm.
because the communities have this online drama in a way
Right.
that I guess it's part of like being youthful, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
but starting when someone's starting to say things that wishing everyone not good, that's not cool.
Right.
I would say it's part of being an amazing person is getting that hate because people want to be like you. So
Right.
I would pat yourself on the back for that because that just shows that you're going places.
For me, if you're gonna ask me if I would have like a choice between success and then being alone versus like you're not that successful but you have a lot of loved ones, I'm still on that other side, and I'm weird, I know. I mean, you should be following your dreams. I'm doing that, but it's also in that there's also that kind of
The pros and
I'm feeling
cons.
torn.
Yeah, exactly.
But this should be celebrated. Why? Like I was like, no, don't stressing out a lot. So now I have to celebrate. I had a lot of like fun plans in a way that I hope I can pull it off. I'm proposing to a magazine to have like kawaii issue. It kind of sounds fun, like a mainstream kind of fashion and art magazine.
Fun.
These are plans for the next year because like most magazines they plan out like 1 year ahead all the issues. So
Yeah.
Right, okay.
these are like coming 2020. One of the plans is like trying to propose make a kawaii issue for a certain magazine. So like
Yeah.
different ways to interpret the kawaii, and like I really just want to have more of that being seen not only in the community but like being seen in the more mainstream. I'm also trying to think of, well, here in New York, we're kind of trying to get more ways to have a get together, but I hope it can still expand to more. Like I want to merge the idea of like night clubbing scene,
Right.
and then there's a community. I'm trying to think of merging that two ideas and have
Ooh.
something. So it's still in like planning mode. I'm
Right.
still not good at the thing, but I'm also a lecturer, so I wish I can still have my lectures in different schools. So that would be a lot of fun because I've been teaching the Japanese street fashion in that way, even back home. But for the holistic stuff, I'm kind of excited in a way that, yeah, doing that kind of kawaii issue or like I want to do like that merging of an event for the kawaii, and I'm even inviting some of the girls who looks kawaii but they don't really identify themselves as the Japanese street style, but they're so
Right.
cute.
They're still
I
like,
want
alternative fashion,
and then
colorful and or not
and then
colorful.
yeah, and then like there are a lot of like potential in that way that
I feel like I get from you like reaching out outside of the community because I feel like there are lots of people who are interested in this stuff, but they're just not a part of the community. They're more just like I like to dress a little funky, kind of like a circle where two
and
circles
then
connect.
A Venn
like,
diagram.
Yeah, Venn diagram. That yeah.
because like I'm very sure if they kind of appreciate this stuff, they would also appreciate what the kawaii girls are like. Since I work in fashion, like I look up to Betsy Johnson, like Richie and Heatherette, and I am quite surprised that like the inside with them, they are also very Japanese influenced. They make their research in Harajuku. These people that you don't really see usually that identify as J fashion, they have a lot of J fashion in their in their DNA. So so I'm more of like reaching out in that way. Like I want to expand in that way. Well, it's a little sad what's happening to Harajuku and stuff because like it's getting gentrified and the rent is getting so expensive that the underground brands couldn't afford to maintain their stores and stuff. And then generally fashion is a little bit in the lows because retail is getting overthrown by online shopping
and fast fashion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fast fashion. Okay, thanks.
I mean, Forever 21 is closing down stores and stuff. Like, they're feeling the hit from people moving away from fast fashion or at least going to physical stores.
Having this kind of community, at least, I want to expand into like a more open to everyone to appreciate. The more that it's appreciated, the more that the life of the culture will flourish. What I respect with the kawaii culture is it's not destructive. It's a good outlet because like all your creative and self-expression comes out, but it's not something like it's not like something you explore the self-hurt or like destruction or something. So I have a lot of respect in that way.
I think that is a beautiful note to end on. So thank you so much for joining us for this episode of O-Kei Podcast. We really appreciate you coming on. If any of y'all are interested in hearing our conversation with Tracy about being a mom in J fashion, head on over to our Patreon. That's the next conversation we're going to be having right now.
And Tracy, where can we like hear more about you and what should we follow? Where should we go?
I have my website, tracydizon.nyc. I guess I'm active in Instagram, tracydizon.nyc as well. And my millinery is Tiara by Tracy Dizon. Well, I'm old, so I'm active in Facebook. My son said nobody's active in Facebook anymore, but I'm old. So that's where we are. I also am in Facebook with Tiara by Tracy Dizon and Tracy Dizon New York. I'm not that active, but I also have a YouTube just like whenever I have a time to share my stuff,
Cool. Awesome. And with that, this has been O-Kei Podcast. My name is Hayden.
My name's Kamila.
And
Tracy.
We love doing that.
We will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.